Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am the Dependent Fanatic, and we are a day late because it was Super Bowl Sunday last night. But it is now time for the Michigan Sports Report. Let's talk about that Super Bowl, Kansas City versus Philadelphia. It still pains me that Goff threw that many picks versus Washington. I don't know if they could have beat Philadelphia. They definitely could have beat Kansas City, especially if Detroit's defense was fully healthy. But wow, Philadelphia and that defense lit up Mahomes with a barrage of fire and were up 24 to nothing at halftime. Kansas City scored 22 points to Philadelphia's 16 in the second half, but no cigar for Kansas City. Now, Philadelphia and Kansas City have both won two of the last four Super Bowls, as Kansas City was trying to go for their first ever three-peat. Philadelphia has now won two of the last four as well. In NHL news, the Red Wings, their 7-game win streak ended on Saturday. They are 28, 22, and 5 now, fifth place in the Atlantic Division. On Tuesday, against the Kraken, Detroit won 5-4 in a shootout, and on Saturday, the streak ended with a 6-3 loss versus the Lightning. It was cool to see Dylan Duke scoring a goal in his NHL debut to help the Lightning. And Michigan's only goal later in that same building versus Michigan State was by Tyler Duke in a losing effort to Michigan State. So the brothers both scored in the same building on the same day. That was pretty cool to see. In the NBA, the Pistons are 27 and 26, sixth place in the East. Now, on Monday, the Pistons lost a 2-point game versus Atlanta, 132 to 130. Cunningham is amazing, isn't he? I keep saying it every week on this show, but listen to the stats every game. 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 14 assists in the losing effort on Monday. Wednesday, the Pistons lost a 3-point game to Cleveland, the best team in the East, 118 to 115. Cunningham had 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists. On Friday, the Pistons bounced back with a 125 to 112 win versus Philadelphia. This time, Beasley had 36 points to help Cunningham, who did not play in that game because of an ankle sprain. But then Sunday, the Pistons beat Charlotte 112 to 102. And again, Cunningham had 19 points, 10 rebounds, and 12 assists. He does whatever it takes for this team. Needs some help, but man, pay the man, keep him. He's awesome. All right, in college news, college hockey. Number 13 Michigan played number 2 Penn State in the second series of the season. It's the last times that they'll face each other unless they meet in the Big Ten Championship tournament or the NCAA tournament. One game was at Munn Ice Arena, and the one game was in Detroit for the duel in the D. At Munn, it was a 1-1 game, and Shifsky scored the game winner for Michigan in the last minute of the game. The defense and Cam Corpy matched Michigan State's intensity and Trey Augustine. It was Michigan's second win versus Michigan State as they won versus number 1 MSU at the time in the previous series. But Michigan State comes away with the most points against Michigan this year. The duel in the D was a win. Michigan was just too sloppy passing the puck. Michigan State took every advantage they could. Michigan was 0 for 4 on power plays in the first 2 periods. Michigan State laid it on in the second half of this game with 5 unanswered goals to win 6-1. Michigan remains on the bubble for the NCAA tournament. We shall see. Michigan State still leads the Big Ten, and Michigan remains in 4th place. Next up for Michigan, we get to play Minnesota, the second best team in the Big Ten, arguably Friday and Saturday. And then Michigan State plays Penn State at home Friday and Saturday as well. In college basketball, Michigan, the number 24 Michigan, was 18-5, 10-2, and they played Oregon and at Indiana this past week. Versus Oregon, Michigan won 80-76 in a game where Michigan got leads and then gave them up throughout the game. Michigan won with free throws yet again, 17 of 21 free throws. Will Cheddar off the bench scored 17 points in 16 minutes for Michigan. Vlad Golden had 12 points and 5 assists, but too many turnovers again. He had 4 of them. Namari Burnett combined with Roddy Gale had 21 points and 9 rebounds, but 6 turnovers. So Michigan is the ultimate sharing basketball team. One of them, Michigan State, is pretty good at it as well. But in this game, 7 players had 8 points or more, and 6 players had 12 points or more versus Oregon. Then Michigan traveled to Bloomington to take on Indiana, and they won that game as well, 70-67. Danny Wolf in this one had 20 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Vlad Golden had 18 points and 8 rebounds. Trey Donaldson had 18 points. Michigan was 17 of 20 from the charity stripe. So whatever they're doing, it's working. The free throw percentage is getting better. They out-rebounded Indiana by 6 as well in that game. Michigan retired another coach, literally. Remember the football program retired Nick Saban. Now Mike Woodson for Indiana said he is stepping down after the loss that night. Next up, Michigan plays Purdue on Tuesday, which is by far the worst loss of Michigan's season. It was at Mackey. This time it is at home. And then Michigan is at Ohio State on Sunday. Michigan State hoops are 19-4 now. Their streak came to an end at UCLA. Well, actually, before that, at USC. But they are 10-2 now, 19-4 overall. They played UCLA and lost, completing the West Coast failure for them. At UCLA, Michigan lost 63-61 in a close game. Nobody had more than 8 points for Michigan State except Jaden Akins, who had 15. Michigan State out-rebounded UCLA 45-27, but they only shot 38%, including 22% from 3. It was Michigan State's second conference loss, and then they bounced back and played Oregon at home, and they won that game 86-74. Michigan State had 13 more rebounds than Oregon and shot 50%. Jace Richardson had 29 points for the Spartans and 5 rebounds, while Jackson Kohler had 14 points and 12 rebounds. Trey Holloman had 13 and 7 assists in the Michigan State win. Tom Izzo tied Bob Knight for the most Big Ten wins in history. Ironically, next up for Michigan State is Indiana. A little bit of irony there. That game is on Tuesday. And then they are at Illinois on Saturday. Inching closer to these two teams playing each other. So there you go. That's the Michigan Sports Report for this week. Some good, some bad. And hopefully it continues to be good for all of these teams going forward. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Stay tuned for the college basketball resume ranking, which is already done. I just have to make the video and upload it. So watch out for that. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks.